Shalom, this is Kabash Ban Yasharala, and before I hop to today's lesson, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to the Most High in the name of His Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, in the true Paleo Hebrew tongue, Ka, Halayim, La, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ha, Rakah, Kodash, Ma'amath. I want to give double honor to the apostles, the elders, the GMS who rule well and teach well. I want to give double honor to my elder as well, Erwan Ban Yasharala of the Lions Den Camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. And I want to say shalom to the Akamara four corners of the globe, pushing the truth of sincerity. With that being said, this lesson is going to the topic of making your calling and election sure. So we're to do everything we can to show ourselves worthy of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, leaving no room for doubt. Long story short, by serving the Lord day in and day out, we're staying focused on righteousness and the path of salvation. That's doing everything we can, serving the Lord when you wake up in the morning, say your prayers. If you got time to read. If you got time to study. You got time to watch lessons. This is what keeps us focused on righteousness. It keeps us on the path of salvation. It doesn't leave room for temptation or distractions or anything like that to creep in. So we can't slow down, get comfortable, or take the Lord for granted because salvation isn't guaranteed. That's why we're to make our calling and election sure. Like, just because you run for president doesn't mean you're going to be elected. You to do everything you can to make it happen. And that's the same thing we're doing in the spirit, Doesn't matter how long you've been here, what's your title, your rank. You can't slow down to get comfortable. And you can't take the Lord for granted, because you'll get so complacent that you'll need a reminder of why you need Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And the scripture says, just man falls 7 times, but he gets up, roughly paraphrasing. So, we not perfect. We gonna go off from time to time. But it's another scripture that says, having been removed from the Lord, being returned, seek him out 10 times more. So the Lord put us in these fleshly bodies to overcome them, because it's not the spirit that gets distracted, it's the flesh. It's not the spirit that gets tempted, it's the flesh. But just getting into these precepts, 2 Peter 1:10. Wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure, for if you do these things, ye shall never fall. I have the definition of diligent according to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, which is characterized by steady, earnest, and energetic effort. And that's how we're to serve the Lord, steadily, earnestly, energetically. For if you do these things, ye shall never fall. And we don't want to fall by the wayside. We don't want to fall out the truth. We don't want to lose the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. We don't want to be back in darkness. The Lord is seeking out those giving their best effort in serving him, giving 100%. And that's all he asking for, 100%. Give all our energy, all our effort, all our focus to him. And yeah, we have things in this world that we have to focus on, families, bills, house maintenance, so on and so forth. But that shouldn't nothing of this world pull us away from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. We're to constantly be keeping his word, seeking him out, doing the things pleasing to him. There's no excuse. And you got people out here, they try to go above and beyond. They try to do more than 100%. They're going to burn themselves out, You can't give somebody $11 if you only have 10. You got to give the Lord that whole 10. Don't do more than what's required of you. Because that could lead into overzealousness, or like I said, overdrive, putting yourself in overdrive, you burn yourself right out the truth. So, you got to be, to give the Lord that 100%, nothing less. Because you giving the Lord less than 100%, you holding back. We're to give diligence to make our calling and election sure. And again, definition of diligence is characterized by steady, earnest, and energetic effort. If you're going to earnestly, truly, and sincerely serve the Lord, man, you got to give him your all. You give your body to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai as a living sacrifice. You want to give him your arm and your leg. You give your whole body to the Lord. You can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. The Lord rather you be hot or cold. And if you lukewarm, he going to spew you out of his mouth. Like you straddling the lines, you stuck in the middle. You not all the way in the world, but you not all the way in the truth, man. Double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So those not serving the Lord diligently aren't focused on him, which leads to stumbling and falling. You driving down the highway, you got a destination in mind, but you looking at all the advertisements, you gonna mess around and miss your stop, your exit. And so us, striving righteously, we gotta stay focused on Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. So we stay on our path that the Lord paid for us to walk. The commandment is a lamp to our feet, a light to our path. So we need Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai to guide us. So when obstacles, so to speak, arise, temptations, things of this world arise, we not only do we see it coming, we're able to overcome it. Again, going back to the road, man, you see a pothole, you're not gonna drive through that pothole. It's too much could happen from that. You can break your control arm, mess up your tire alignment, pop your tire. It's too much that come from that. You see that pothole, you're gonna go around it. The wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Lord helps us to avoid the said dangers of this world, which is all the more reason we're to abide by it. Keep it at the forefront of our mind, because if you're not all the way focused on the Lord, you may or may not see that danger coming. You may or may not be prepared. You may or may not fall victim to it. So we got to be locked in with the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Constantly, day in and day out. There's not there's not like an 8-hour shift or or whatever. As soon as you wake up, as soon as to the time you go back to sleep, we serving the Lord. Matthew 6:22. For the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. But if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? So the light of the body is the eye, So our focus should be solely on Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. That's why I said, let thine eye be single. Our focus should be singularly on Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is our shepherd, and we're his sheep. And we need him for sustainment, guidance, and protection, The sheep follow the shepherd. We're the sheep. Yahweh Shai is the shepherd. We're following him. We're following the path that he paid for us to walk. And we have to be singularly focused on that path. Otherwise, we're going to be lost sheep again. Lost in the wilderness, vulnerable to all the predators waiting in the waiting to devour us. But we have the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, and he'll give us everything we need. So there's no reason for us not to be focused on him. And again, those not solely focused on the Lord, they're distracted, which could cause them to lose sight of the Lord entirely. You ever follow somebody in a car? You got to stay focused on them. You got to stay near to them. We got to stay near to the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Versus you just dying, or you think you know where you going. You don't need to follow this person necessarily, but they have a better idea of where they're going than you, which is why they took the lead to begin with. You end up lost. You end up losing that person entirely, trying to play catch up. And that's some of our people. They think they can guide themselves to salvation. But Yahweh Shai paved that path. He's the only one with the GPS, the map. All the more reason we need him. And our people, those not solely focused on the Lord, man, they playing a dangerous game. Because many are called, but few are chosen. Salvation isn't guaranteed. And that goes back and taking the Lord for granted, man. You think you doing a little, because you doing a little something, you making a little noise. It don't mean it's not enough. They think themselves to be in good case. The Lord gonna show them where they stand with them. Hopefully before it's too late. Some of our people aren't focused on the Lord at all. Let's talk about them folks. because they're in darkness, they don't know or care about the path they're on. They don't care about where it's leading them. They don't care. They don't know about the judgments coming towards them. They think they're doing things to avoid the judgment. Some people just not even think about judgment at all. You know, their eyes are evil. They're focused on the things of this world. So their whole bodies are full of darkness. That's why when they see the light of the Lord, they don't come into it, because it reproves them, it rebukes them. It tells them that they're wrong, and they don't want to hear that. But we're here to prophesy and tell these people to turn back to the Lord, whether they hear or forbear, getting their blood off of our hands. That's part of our job. And you can't hold back the word of the Lord, man, or he gonna hold you. You know, your blood gonna be on their hands. He gonna hold you accountable for that. They gonna get their judgment, but the Lord gonna be like, hey, man, I told you to tell him this, that, and the third, and you ain't do it. And you know, we're the hopeful elect, man. We're hoping to receive salvation. So we gotta make our call in that election sure. So our focus should be solely on Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai again, making our eyes singularly focused on him. Because the 2/3 of our people, they're singularly focused on darkness and wickedness. Ephesians 6:10, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. So we get to stay strong in the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai by seeking out his ways and abiding by them. That's why it says, finally, my brother, be strong in the Lord and the power of his might. So we seek out the ways of the Lord and abide by them, building ourselves up in the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, fortifying his wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in our minds. Starting with the milk and moving on to the meat. A part of our job is to rebuke the lies and the wickedness of this world and being the example of true righteousness. And that's a full-time occupation, man. Like I said, man, from the time you wake up to the time you go back to sleep, man, you need to be focused on righteousness. You need to be moving according to the ways of the Lord. And we need to be focused on him to be able to do so. Because no matter how long you've been in the truth, man, if you rested with the Lord's on, you know, when it comes to scripture, just the wisdom in general, man, you're not gonna be able to fight properly. You know, you allowed yourself to get out of shape. Athletes train year round for whatever season their event is. They don't take their hand off the plow, so to speak, and go on vacation and start working. Nah, they got bodies to maintain. They're maintaining their bodies. And we're doing the same spiritually, man. The same way they go lift their weights or go running or do whatever they do. We read scripture. We watch lessons. We associate with Akim. All these things are the things we were called to do. And the Lord looking to see who's doing these things truly and sincerely, diligently, fervently. Because the Lord gonna test you. He gonna send some Jehovah Witnesses, a false camp, or something your way. And if you're not focused on the Lord, man, you ain't gonna be able to fight. You're not gonna be able to defend the gospel properly. And that might cause somebody to fall out by the wayside right there. Then got cut up by some Christians or something. They lost faith. When really, it was your actions of not being, you choosing not to be focused on the Lord to begin. You didn't take root in the Lord, or you stopped tending to that plant, You lost that fervent spirit. You stopped serving the Lord diligently. And that's all the more reason we are to stay focused, man. Cause we fighting. We're in a world full of darkness. We're vessels of light trying to shine light, man. It's not gonna be loud in this world ultimately till Yahushua returns. But the lighthouse is here, so to speak, those who the Lord woke up spiritually to be able to shine light. So we need to be focused on our own salvation with fear and trembling, making our calling and election sure. Ephesians 6:13. Wherefore, then this the point really. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of Yahweh, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. So the more vigorously we fight the fight of faith, the more we're building ourselves up spiritually, solidifying ourselves in the foundation of the Lord, and becoming unmovable. We have to do all we can to stand, man. Because the more we're seeking to cleave to the Lord, the harder we're fighting to get closer to Him, the more He's going to deal with us, the more, He might push it through some more stuff, but He made you strong enough to be able to overcome that. And fighting vigorously and overcoming through the Spirit, that's not only going to boost your faith in the Lord. Whether it be the day-to-day affairs of your life, something you're going through, or whether it be ultimately talking about obtaining salvation, that forgiveness of sins. Being worthy of being called the elect of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. And that's what we're to be, that unmovable creature rooted in the foundation of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. We got to put the whole armor on, Put on the whole spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. That's the only covering we have. Anything else, man, you running around here naked. And you got to put that on and truly and sincerely believe in it. And you can't allow your faith to waver. But y'all right, that's all this lesson was edifying. And until the next time, I'm going to say shalom.